Hello, welcome to another episode of Commander Durdle. So, in this episode we're looking at a card pool to seed the algorithm that's in the deck building algorithm that's in Archidect, and the card pool is from Dragons of Tarkir. So I've chosen Sidisi as my legendary creature, and I'm interested in seeing where, if at all, we get dragged because of exploit on the card. I've also included a number of utility cards that are in the set, so as I do in previous episodes, all these cards that I start with have to be from the set, and obviously in the commander's colours as we're building a commander deck. So we've got Corpseweft, which is an enchantment for 2 and a black. 1 and a black exile one or more creature cards from your graveyard. Put an XX black zombie horror creature token into the battlefield tap, where X is twice the number of cards exiled this way. So I'm just interested in cards that are going to leverage the fact that if we're going to end up with a lot of exploit stuff, we're going to have stuff ending up in the graveyard. And also in the set we have Grave Purge, which allows us to get back creature cards from the graveyard and put them back on top of our library and then draw a card. Then we've got Deathwind, which is simply a -X/-X black spell. Interesting removal. I've got 36 swamps in here. As you know, I always tend to start off with around that number of land and then just go from there. 9 creatures from the set, the vast majority of which have exploit, and again that's to try and push the algorithm in a certain direction. There's a few exceptions. I just wanted to include Deathbringer Regent because it was the mono black dragon in the set. So you can see here it's 5 and 2 black for 5/6, but you get this interesting effect. So when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand and there are 5 or more other creatures on the battlefield, destroy all other creatures. So interesting sort of removal. Dutiful Attendant, when it dies, return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So we've got that interaction with exploit. Murraying River Skeleton, well, this has regenerate on it, so if I wanted to exploit this and then get it back, I could, so that will be handy. And then various other creatures which have additional utility when they're exploited or they exploit. As you can see. So all of these 3 so far is when they exploit a creature, you get an effect. But then there's other creatures like this one where we can actually cast it from our graveyard if it ends up in there. Although there's an additional cost, conditional cost as well. I'm going to be curious if this does pull me down a zombie tribal path, direction, but there's a connection between a lot of zombie themed cards and you're getting stuff back from the graveyard or graveyard recursion, however you want to look at it. So we'll see where that goes. Silumgar Butcher, another exploit card. And then Vulturous Aven as well. So we're basically combining exploit with a certain utility. And we'll just see where this takes us. That's sufficient at the moment. There wasn't any particular artifacts in the set that I really felt I wanted to play. So that's one thing that's missing from here is artifacts of some description. I probably could have played the other mono black dragon, but it didn't seem to be particularly relevant. But we'll see what gets suggested. We might have some black stuff from the set that I just forgot about. So let's just do a preliminary search. We may well find, I did notice that Sidisi is a popular commander in combination with a card like Ad Nauseam. So we'll see if that gets suggested. I don't know. So Ad Nauseam in Commander is a good way of getting combo pieces, from what I understand. And we'll see whether it suggests it. I don't know whether I specifically want to build a deck purely around an Ad Nauseam type strategy. But we'll see what happens. And it may be the case what I might want to do is just look at my instance first of all because of that, and just see what might be suggested. Certainly I want to put Gary in here and the usual suspects. We've got Dark Ritual with the new artwork. Things like Feed the Swarm. And I know we're playing mono black anyway, but sometimes it is handy to just have a relatively low cost mana rock in a deck, even in a monocolour deck. Also things like Cabal Coffers as well for our land. And we're still playing mono black, and we might as well leverage cards like this. And then if we're trying to get stuff back, then Restless Dead is a good exploit target. So let's see as we go into this where we might get taken. So yeah, so no suggestion for Ad Nauseam, which is fine. I'm happy with that. It's an instant. So let's grab some instants. So Dark Rate. Any number of target creature cards from the okay. That's good. That echoes a card we've already seen, actually. Interesting removal spell with the mono black deck. Card draw and that. So really, I think that's quite sufficient. This deck may just build itself. This may end up being a particularly short episode. I'm also curious. I understand that the playtesting feature in here has changed quite considerably since I did the last episode. So I'm curious to see how that looks. I've not tried it out yet, so we'll see. Hopefully it won't break the episode. Okay, I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. So if I choose this, I'm hoping that it might push me towards zombies. That's cool if I do end up with a lot. If I end up milling myself. Of course, with black, we do have the advantage of true tutoring for stuff. Yeah, it looks like this being here. I bet there's been lots of experimentation recently on EDH Rep. People putting in mono black artifact decks, maybe. I'll put that in for the moment and see where it pulls me. Card draw. Well, let's go for some tutoring initially. I'm just going to re-roll this, so to speak, and see what other suggestions I can get. Oh, Damnation, of course. And reanimate, yeah, so that's no surprise. Bubbling Muck. Exsanguinate. Living Death. That would be cool if I did really go all in with just getting my graveyard as full as possible. Although that's always a bit of a risky strategy. And people are most likely to run Graveyard Hate. From that. And that. So obviously you can see here with a combination, so you've got, just to clarify here some stuff, so you've got Sidisi, which has a tutor spell staple to it, and we've got a number of tutors as well. So in this particular deck, one direction it's taking me, I suppose, is it does allow me to tutor for the sort of spells which you might consider to be a single kill spell, where it has a massive effect, providing you've got a certain, you're in a certain position to do that. So for this to work, you would need to have an awful lot of excess mana. But I've seen that in some of the EDH ad nauseum. Let me just bring up ad nauseum so everybody's clear what this does. Like I said, I'm not going to put it in the deck. Well, I'll just put it in temporarily and then take it back out again. Reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose a life equal to its converted mana cost. You may repeat this process any number of times. So it's lots of ways this can be leveraged. You can have like a ton of land in your deck, and so of course you're just filling your hand full of or you're more likely to fill your hand full of land, because if you've got a lot more land than normal, you're going to be hitting lands and they have no converted mana cost. Or you might just be using this as a way of just tutoring for combo pieces in black as well. The sort of things that are just going to kill a single opponent outright. But again, we're playing in a multiplayer format, so there's obviously disadvantages sometimes in doing that. So let's go back to this. Let's look at our Planeswalker suggestions. Just going to redo that. And I would want to probably play both of these. So this one is great. This is down the direction I want to do. So I want to be killing my own stuff. And then I'm also creating zombie tokens. And then this one is great for building up my mana base. So yes, please, both of those. Now, from what I remember, isn't there a number of enchantments that... I'm just looking for enchantments that are going to that would combo off with that other card. Wonder. That's cool. It's not suggesting it. Do I want to force this by going down with endless ranks of the dead? Yeah, I might have to do this. See if I can sort of force it a little bit in a slight zombie tribal direction. Okay. Get my land base sorted out. And base and artifacts and see what happens. Okay. So yes, yes, yeah, yeah. That one. Reliquary Tower. That's good. Let's readjust this. Let's just, I think I'm going to take that down. Okay. Moving on to artifacts. Good old Bontu's monument. Right, Soul Ring. Jet Medallion. Arcane Signet. We'll do that. That run a Burnished Hart. And a Caged Sun. Just make sure I increase my chances of not having to discard cards by running another "you have no maximum hand size" card. And then maybe stuff to protect my commander. So 10 artifacts. Stick with that for the moment, because I'm curious what creatures I might end up with. I'll just re-roll this. Okay. Going to exploit target. So I must admit I'm not seeing a lot of zombies here, so I might be able to reassess whether I need any of those zombie specific cards or not. But it would be nice to leverage those tribal cards. We'll see. Oh, looks nasty. I'm a bit concerned that this deck might end up as a little bit of everything. In other words, it'll end up as a very Durdly deck, which I suppose is no surprise considering this series is called Commander Durdle. So I'm seeing a few more zombies here filter through. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay. That's not good. Let me just look at the deck again. That's a bit concerned. Again. Okay. Keep that. So Sidisi is what, turn 5? So I'm just seeing if I can get a bit of a speed bump going on here. Oh. Get that out. Not everyone. It's going to take me a while to get used to this new interface. I keep double clicking. It's not very clear. Let me just see if I can. Is that better? Increase the zoom. It's not great. Okay, so that's now, Sidisi is now castable. So I suppose the trick with this is, yeah, Okay, well, let's just say I was to cast that, then I could go looking for a card. So with this, of course, it's a question of you knowing your deck well. Yeah, so I suppose what's really happening here is that at this point, I can use my commander to sort of choose the direction that I take the deck in. And then start playing around that. So the idea I think so really it's a case of me, so as I'm sort of thinking this, as I've thinking this through as I'm looking at the different cards. So there's two options with the playing the commander. One is to search for something that is going to take out an opponent in one hit. Now it might be possibility that you can't play that straight away. Another is to find a card that really sets you up nicely, like something that's going to ramp your mana in some way. And the third is to find a card that is going to enhance a particular line of play, I suppose. So for this, for instance, if I wanted to just start play more of a zombie thing. So yeah, I think now I'm getting it with this, how I would go. It's interesting that in putting this together, the deck together, I'm sort of creating the strategy out of the deck build without having a particular strategy clear in my head before I wanted to do it. So that's where I've sort of ended up, is one, you can use the commander to set you on a sort of zombie tribal path. Initially, you can use the commander to set it up so that you are in a position to amplify your mana. So it makes things much more playable. Or you can use your commander to find a particular card that is going to allow you to take out a single player when the time comes. So for instance, if I wanted to go down the zombie route, then I would probably pick the enchantment that just keeps increasing the amount of zombies in play. Endless Ranks of the Dead. So I move that to my hand. Okay, so yeah, now it's all sort of coming together. Yeah, so that's the way I see this deck as playing out, which is interesting in that it's almost like adopting that modal theme where you've got a number of different ways this could play out depending on what card you initially choose to go for, and then leveraging your tutors to amplify that particular strategy. Yeah, now I've got it. Now I've got how this might work. Okay. And part of this is all like a learning experience. Sometimes I'll come in and you'll get a really clear line with this where I go, okay, yeah, I can see where the commander's going to go on this and see where the suggestions might take me. But with this one, it's a little bit more confusing in some ways. So if I... Oh, that's interesting. You can do all this. I think I definitely need to play around with this before I attempt this again. Everything has moved around quite a bit. So with this hand, what have we got? So we do have a swan, we do have a Jet Medallion, we have a Reliquary Tower. So it does mean that we can get our Jet Medallion out fairly early. And we already have another swamp. And then really, oh yes, so we don't really need to worry about Thought Vessel. Keep that in hand, just in case our Reliquary Tower gets taken out. Oh, I did it again. Okay, so this time round, it looks like it's sort of encouraging me to go down a sack theme with the deck. So again, yeah, and it's quite interesting actually, sort of letting the cards dictate one of the 3 or 4 strategies of the deck. Okay. What do we got this time? So this is more exploit stuff, and we've got endless ranks. All zombies. Yeah, so okay, yeah, that's another way of looking at it, is that, you know, it's almost like the opening cards, yeah, like inspire me to take it down the various strategies. Okay. So with this one, you know, it's like encouraging me to play to more the zombie side of things. And then this hand, yep, zombies. But we got tutoring as well. Oh, nice bit of ramp here. So yeah, I'd probably want to build up a lot of mana and then get into a position where we can cast a Gary. Of course, I'm knocking down my opponents actually. Each land isn't. No, it's not right. Actually, each land is this. No, that's cool because yeah, that'll any of my utility lands that don't necessarily generate black mana will be able to generate it because each land is a swamp in addition to its other land types. So it doesn't really amplify the mana. Read the cards properly and you know what's going on. Just one more to get a feel for this. Yeah, I'm wondering about this. I think this is a problem. I didn't really go in with any clear strategy beyond seeing where this would take me. So looking at this, I'm wondering whether I would want to remove the exploit creatures and increase the amount of potential targets for this Sidisi sort of enters the battlefield exploit trigger, and just remove the other exploit creatures, and then just decide, you know, what combination of maybe zombies and tutoring targets to put in here that are going to take out opponents or make it very unpleasant for them. Anyway, I think I'll call it a halt there. It's definitely getting very durdly now as I'm just sort of winging this a bit in response to the way that the deck's panned out. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in the next video.